Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sound Test podcast. This is your host, Bryan here. We're joined by the spinning freak, also known as DeYante.
I'm not a freak.
You're like a 4-year-old who discovered spinning chairs for the first time.
This chair is very ergonomic, and it doesn't make me feel woozy when I spin.
I would hope it doesn't.
You look like a kid that just visited their parents' office on Take Your Child to Work Day.
And just terrorizing everything.
They're just going all over the place.
Just had like the staples and just like
getting thumbtacks and putting them in other workers' seats and shit.
That kid is a menace if they're doing that. Joined by Clayton here.
You're just the same as I am. That'll make sense later.
I didn't get that reference. I'm guessing that's a Harry Potter reference.
Neither.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
bacon.
That's just Jamaican at that time.
Like saying beer can with a British accent. Beer can.
Biakan.
That's my favorite joke. If you say beer can with a Jamaican accent, you say bacon with an English accent.
Bacon.
This game is loud.
All right, and we are joined with a special guest today, welcoming Chanel.
Special.
Thanks.
I don't know how this
I'm
always
Channy.
happens. I don't know how this always happens, but like, obviously, like the sound test started with like the four of us being like musicians as well, you know, being interested in tech and gaming, stuff like that. And every time we've had another person on here, they've also been a musician as well.
All right. It's Kofi.
Yeah.
I'm a Kofi. She is a string player, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had DeYante on here as well.
Yeah. He's a sax player with me.
Right.
So it's
Oh yeah, then Max instrumentalist.
It's that toilet seat.
stop.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah. I heard he's proficient. Correct.
Proficient at the toilet seat.
Toilet seat. We can't speak on his name, for he is not here today. Unfortunately.
But so Chanel, you also have your own podcast suite. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Jesus.
Oh shit!
See, last week it was Clayton. Now it's DeYante.
It's these Cheerios.
Somebody's behind that people, man. They just burp
These
all
are
over the place.
amazing.
My God. Well, I'm Channy. I am the co-host of the Code Switching Naturally podcast and the creator of the Ramen Bowl. On Code Switching, we talk a lot about Black issues and about being Black in America and different ways of being Black. And the Ramen Bowl, which is my personal baby, is a side piece of that where we just, man, you just get to come and vibe. Like, we just talk about gaming, anime, music, movies, all that, all kinds of media, and just hang out with me. You guys are free to join my Discord, by the way. We have Saturday morning wake and bakes. Which literally, we just watch cartoons and just sit there. So yeah, you guys are welcome to do that.
That sounds like a vibe.
I joined your Discord last night.
Thanks.
That chaos that ensued in that one channel.
As soon as you showed up, oh my God.
You already knew. You can't have us.
It's going to be problematic.
You can't have us two in the same room, especially since I saw Jacob in New York last year.
I'm so excited, but also, oh my God, I know you guys. I know you guys are going to ruin it.
Ruin what?
My Discord.
So if you think this Discord was bad, imagine me, Chekovar, and Max in New York, Manhattan, going to a club. Yeah.
Oh, I know that was a great
None of
time.
that sounds like
Smart idea.
like it doesn't sound like a PG time, I should say.
If there's a letter
I
after
think it
X,
would be
it's
fun. I'm sure you guys had a great time.
oh yeah. Well, stumbling back to our hotel room, like
Stumbling, Jesus.
like bro, like
Like
Max
fucking
Chakovar,
babies.
Max Chakovar and I were drunk as fuck. But literally, our hotel was just a 15-minute walk from 10-15 minute walk from the club we went
And I
to.
bet that felt like the longest 15 minutes of your life, boy.
Bro, like
Bro.
and I had this habit. I crave wings whenever the fuck I'm drunk. So we went to this pizzeria on this corner, whatever, like that near our hotel. And they have wings on the menu, but like, oh, we don't serve wings. I'm like, do you have any chicken? They're like, chicken tenders. I'm like, fuck it. I'm drunk. Let's go. Give me some chicken tenders. That's a good time.
Sounds great.
So, one is you invite Chanel on here so we have a larger discussion today on can you separate the art from the artist? Because it's been three kind of really prominent things that's been going on, both in the video games media, television media, movie, film media, regarding either the creators or contributors or the actors or things like that evolving in the media and kind of their actions outside there's actions outside of the professional world and how that affects the actual, art that they're producing or art that they're working on. So try to do it in multifaceted things. So that's why I wanted to invite Chanel on, because I'm not the Harry Potter person. Clayton is. And
I am a huge fan.
right.
Hold on. I came prepared.
And I'm just a fly on the wall.
Okay.
I have my Ravenclaw.
Unbelievable.
Okay. I'm
I
glad
should've
that's
grabbed
what
my
revealed,
wand.
because I thought he was about to flash us. So
I have
I'm
my
glad that was the outcome.
It's got
2020 limited edition wand from
is that a
Universal
fucking spark
Studios.
plug?
It's the 2020 limited edition wand from Universal Studios.
It's not a
And-
car
In your
part.
car.
And I have this Ravenclaw
That's a
wand.
license plate. Where are you stealing these pieces of people's vehicles from, Clayton?
Robbery.
And lastly, my enamel pin of
He stole a badge.
Right, that's the emblem on the hood of the car. Watch out for him.
This guy's bad news.
I would separate myself from him.
Stupefy. Kill dumb man.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first one I want to bring up is the issues regarding Justin Roiland. He was the creator of he was the creator of Rick and Morty. His game studio was Squanch Games, who produced High on Life. He also has some other animated projects and things that he was just he's been working over the last few years. So I'll start with the article. This is from NBC News, excuse me. Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland faces felony domestic violence charges. He was charged with domestic battery and false imprisonment in May 2020 after an incident with a woman he was dating, according to a criminal complaint. He pled not guilty in 2020. In a statement, one of Roland's attorneys wrote that his client was innocent and he expects the case will be dismissed. We're looking forward to clearing Justin's name and helping him move forward as swiftly as possible. NBC News obtained the criminal complaint in the case, which charges Roiland, 42, with one felony count of domestic battery with corporal injury and one felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and or deceit. NBC News is the first to report publicly on the case. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, according to Orange County Superior Records, Roiland pled not guilty on both charges in October 2020. Since then, the case has been a subject of more than a dozen court hearings, including pre-trial hearings. A trial date is currently not set. Roiland cannot go within 100 feet of the person, according to the order, which also ordered Roiland to turn in any firearms he has owned or possessed. The order lasts until October 23, and it's not known who submitted the request for the order. Details of the case, including police body camera footage, police reports, abuse investigation reports, medical reports, and recordings of interviews, are currently being withheld from the public under a protective order. So I'm not going to go through the whole article, but there is another article that I want to kind of bring into light. And this is more of his contributions, his media contributions. So he had just debuted a new animated show called Koala Man on Hulu. Of course, there's Rick and Morty, which is currently like being done for I believe its 6th season. There's High on Life, which was the game that recently came out in December. And there's another show that he's over, Solar Opposites, that's also on Hulu. So the looking, even if you look past the felony charges, apparently there's some other charges and other things that I'm not even going to read from this article just because it's really out there.
I had no idea about all these like I've known about his like past like issues, but I didn't know about these felony charges. That's new to me.
Yeah, so it was kind of like when the felony charges came out, it opened like a can of worms. And then
I bet it did.
Yeah, with all of these things regarding him DMing women and being harassing, just saying off the wall outlandish stuff to them in their messages. And apparently this has been something that's just been going on for a while. So he's kind of been removed from all the projects he's been on, which is crazy because with Rick and Morty, he plays 2 voices of the main cast. The 2 title characters, Rick and Morty. So the Adult Swim severed ties with him. Squanch Games, his game development studio, cut ties with him. And it seemed like his deals he had with Hulu/Disney, those are being severed as well. So it was like a speed run to ruin his career, any percentage. And he did it in a few months, boy.
Yep.
True.
And it's like,
it's been a spiral for him.
Right. And it's like, at what cost did you think that none of this shit would come to light? Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of celebrities that have some dirt, it comes to light eventually. It came way sooner than I'm pretty sure he was expecting. I mean,
it's hard for me to like. It's not. I think for me, it's more of like I can't say that I wasn't a fan of these. Like I was watching Rick and Morty, and I was watching some of his other shows, but it does kind of make me a little uncomfortable knowing these potentially could be. I don't even know. Like, are these charges like actually like are they confirmed? Like he did these, or like are we just like speculating?
So him and his attorneys pleading not guilty. But I mean, but there's charges nonetheless. Like they,
okay.
There's investigation going on. So, false imprisonment is
basically really something happened.
Yeah, false imprisonment is just a wild thing just to throw out there for that to not like have any type of basis.
Yeah, something happened there.
Yeah.
And so, obviously that's one of those things you just have to wait till the court case comes out. But the DM stuff, like that's just, I mean, there's screenshots of that. Like there's
screenshots. That's uncomfortable, straight up.
So, go ahead, Clayton.
I'm just like, if you know it's bad, why would you do it? That's just the main question. I think that's a question that I'm going to just perpetually ask throughout this episode, because DMing women that you don't like that they don't like you, they're saying no. Why would you harass them? And same thing with domestic violence. You're hitting another person, especially a female. At least for me, my values. I was raised never to hit a female, unless she hit first. I'm just like, At what cost? Because you built a creative empire. You found a good franchise. You created this. You've created characters that was so relatable to your adult audience, and then you're gonna fuck it up because what? Because what?
Because yes.
Because I can't. Because that's
And
really
I'm
what
gonna
it
do it
is.
the fastest that nobody's ever done.
Yeah, and
80% speed run.
and I was listening to another podcast. It's called Guilty Pleasures. It's from what was it? Rampart City. I forgot the name of that. Whatever. But we were talking about Brendan Fraser and cancel culture and how Brendan Fraser's career. If you guys haven't noticed, like towards the late '90s, early 2000s, you haven't seen much of Brendan Fraser at all because he got
Yeah.
blackballed in Hollywood for
Oh,
speaking up against because he was sexually abused by one of his co-stars. He spoke up and then he got blackballed.
I did not know this.
I
Yeah.
did not know that either.
Yeah, so he made his like return in this recent movie called The Whale. I think it came out either last year or in
Oh yeah, about the
2020.
overweight man.
Yeah.
Did he
oh
get an
yeah.
Oscar or something?
I
He got
think
some award. I think he did get an Oscar.
he got something. Oh yeah, he did. He did. He did. I remember. But my question is, why are we patronizing the people who are speaking up against their sexual abuse? Why?
Honestly, in the venue that he's in, I feel like it's the problem of you're a whistleblower. People don't like whistleblowers, so they're going to demonize the
Mm-hmm.
whistleblowers. People are less acclimated to you. They don't want you to be able to speak your truth because then you're going to speak all kinds of truths.
They want to hear that shit because they want to only hear what they want to hear.
Which is
Mm.
domestic violence, sexual assault, so on and so on.
The things that you come to like that you keep in the dark are typically things that go against your own personal moral code. You just do them anyway.
Right.
Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna write that down.
That's a very deep and kind of malignant thing that lingers.
Mm, palatable.
That thought itself doesn't sit well, but it's the truth. That's just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is it right? No, but
this is eventually going to go into a bigger discussion of can you separate the artist from the art? Because like in the case of like I didn't watch Rick and Morty a lot. I'll catch it here and there. But with High on Life, obviously his brand of humor is in there. It's very much infused into the game. But also he the first weapon you get in the game, because in the actual game, all your weapons have dialogue, they have personalities and things like that. And the first weapon you get in the game is played by him. So it's literally unavoidable to hear his voice. It's
all the
unavoidable.
time.
You're gonna be, you're gonna be. It's his content at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna constantly be getting his influence on there. So it's just like it feels weird because again, I'm not a super big a fan of Rick and Morty, so me not watching Rick and Morty because of his actions is kind of a whatever. But me playing the game is more like I enjoyed the game. I had fun playing it, but also just in that now it has that little thing in the back of my mind. It's just like, bro, you were like
Yeah.
really wild 2 years ago, and like
for no reason.
right, and you're actively hurting people, but your content is constantly in my face that I'm consuming throughout this game. And the thing that sucks. So when I was looking, and we'll talk about this happens as well in the last topic. But a lot of people, as soon as it happened, they were like, all right, boycott Rick and Morty, we're not watching the season, yada, yada, yada. But the double-edged sword about that, yes, obviously if these things are true in terms of the court case, then yes, he should be held responsible. But at the same time, saying boycott Rick and Morty, yes, that's going to hurt him, but it's hurting the hundreds of people that work on the show, hundreds of people that worked on High on Life, on his other shows. Like, this is affecting a lot of people because of his actions.
Mm.
Mm.
X.
Like there are many other
Um,
lives that are involved in the situation. Like think about the people that worked on the show with him and that may have known about this shit and didn't speak up. They're part of the case.
people are going to lose jobs, like literally going to lose their job because of his
Yeah.
actions,
Right.
Mhm.
Because of what he did.
So I
and
think,
that sucks.
yeah. So I proposed a question for like just to think about, not necessarily explicitly answering, but can if we separate the artists from the art, people obviously are going to lose their jobs, their pay is going to get cut, whatever is going to happen. So do we still continue to support the art just because we want to support the people outside of the person who created said art?
I want to say that. I want to say that when we get to the Hogwarts legacy, because that one's going to be a little bit more pertaining to that topic.
Yeah.
But
That's a good question, man.
so just keep that in your head. So let's move forward just a bit. So Ezra Miller. This is a whole lot to unpack if you don't know.
He's a super villain.
Literally.
Super villain.
Oh my god.
So this is an article from the Evening Standard, and even this is just like a short version of all of the stuff that Ezra Miller has been involved with in the last few years. So just reading a little bit of this. The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, 30. God, 30? God, young. Okay. All right.
That's a baby.
Oh, he's my age. Almost.
Is set to be released. Okay, The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, is set to be released this summer after a number of delays in production. First announced in 2014, initially due to be released in 2018, a number of things went wrong during production. Multiple directors came and went, actor schedules conflicted, and then COVID hit. Then in 2022, Miller faced a number of allegations and arrests. It's no wonder then that fans thought they'd never see The Flash hit the big screen. But with a new trailer released during the Super Bowl and a June 26th release date standing firm, The Flash looks set to go ahead. So, what did Ezra Miller do? Last year, Miller was faced with a string of allegations and was arrested a number of times. They have since apologized for their behavior and said that they are seeking treatment for their mental health. So, March 2022. Miller was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and harassment after an incident at a bar in Hawaii. Police said he yelled obscenities at a woman and then lunged at a man. A temporary restraining order was issued against Miller after a couple alleged Miller entered their room and threatened them. They also alleged that Miller stole a passport and a wallet. All right, April 2022. Weeks later, Miller was arrested for allegedly throwing a chair, which hit a woman in the head after being asked to leave a private residence. All right, August 2022. In August 2022,
like imagine being just chilling and you just get hit in the head with a chair because you were asked to leave.
By
You
Ezra
told someone
Miller.
to leave. By Flash. The Flash.
He's a super villain. Like,
You know what? He is Flash because he's speed running
Like
his own
this,
mind.
Batman.
not only throws hands, but throws chairs.
Throws chairs and is really fast with it.
to be a wrestler and a steel chair.
That wasn't on my 2022 bingo card.
In August 2022, the actor was charged over the alleged burglary of a home in Vermont. Miller later apologized for their behavior. In a statement provided to Variety by the representative, Miller said, "Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life."
I'm just stuck on the apology that he had for the burglary. Like, how do you? I'm sorry, I burgled.
I'm sorry I stole. Like deliberately broke into the house to steal.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't mean to do that.
And it's like this there's more to this. This was just like a quick dive. Like there's been other things just from like last year. Like child endangerment is part of the things that they did, because at one point, uh, this is so weird. Okay, so this one point there was this woman who said she was being abused by her partner, and so she left that situation. And apparently, Ezra Miller was the person that brought them into the house with open arms. But this woman also had children, and apparently, um, Ezra Miller was very paranoid about a lot of different things. So they would constantly keep like loaded firearms around the house. And this is a huge issue with children being around live ammunition.
Weapons.
Yeah. At some point, the police couldn't find him. He just disappeared. And Ezra Miller was just showing up in different cities at different times. And while all this was going on, Warner Brothers was trying like their best to like mitigate the situation as much as possible, because Ezra Miller is their star of this huge movie that they put billions and billions of dollars into making, promoting, setting up, structuring. So okay, so have y'all seen the trailer for The Flash?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Well, that's the newest one.
Okay. It's a big deal in terms of what's going on in the context of the DC movies. Is essentially telling the story of Flashpoint, in which
For the paradox.
yeah, so in which you know the Flash kind of goes back into time to prevent his mother's death, but then that messes up so many things like timeline wise, and causes a bunch of issues regarding separate universes and things converging and stuff like that. And I'm a DC fan, so I actually enjoy the trailer. I like the Flashpoint story. The thing that really dampers my mood for the movie is that I definitely want to see the movie, but just knowing all of the wild stuff that Ezra Miller's been doing these last like 3-4 years, that mixed with just being honest, I didn't like his character portrayal of the Flash to begin with, way back in the Justice League. And that may be more of a Zack Snyder direction type of thing. Flash was always like a comedic relief, character. But I just felt like Ezra Miller felt in that role, he felt really, really young. Like Flash is usually the same age range as your Batman, your Superman, mid 30s to 40s type person. But their characterization of the Flash was very, very young.
Wasn't he like a
Peter
teen?
Parker-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He had more Spider-Man vibes. He seems very inexperienced and things like that. Usually when we have the Flash story, we're usually like in the middle of his career, essentially. And he's more of a unknown entity, but nobody knows his actual identity. So like I had problems with that characterization of him. He was very annoying in the Justice League movie. Like he wasn't an enjoyable representation of Flash. And again, that's probably more on the writing and Zack Snyder's vision of the Justice League at the time. But obviously that carries over into this movie. And looking at that trailer, it was like every line that Ezra Miller did was so like cringy. It sounded phoned in. It was just like, I don't feel like they're bringing a lot to the lead role of it. And it just felt like a lot was undesired, which sucks because how they're, structuring everything else around it. Like, I love that they're bringing back Michael Keaton. Because if you don't know the Flashpoint story, basically it's not Bruce Wayne who becomes Batman. It's his father. And they're having Michael Keaton playing as Thomas Wayne because he would be Batman.
Oh.
So that was like a cool like nod to like, oh, we're taking somebody who used to be Batman to play an older Batman. And Michael Keaton looks great.
I'm actually really new to the whole like DC world. Like I'm just getting into like Young Justice and Justice League and stuff. So like Ezra's actions for me personally they're just comical, personally. they are. To me,
That's like a
it's kind. He is a circus
Clown
freak,
behavior.
but like, yeah, but like,
clown
I
behavior.
think for me, it's kind of like I hope that his mental health, he actually takes it
How's
seriously.
your mental focus?
But the thing is, it's
I don't-
like I've seen like the discussion online, people saying, you know, Ezra Miller needs mental health, mental treatment, things like that, which I get. But at the same time, that's not an excuse
These
of
are wild
consequences.
actions.
Like you
Mhm.
cannot be an excuse from your
Exactly.
consequences because you claim you have mental health issues. If you have mental health issues, you need to have some professionals help that. But that doesn't mean you can just start fights with people, throw chairs all over the place, and think it's just okay because you're not mentally stable at that point. There still has to be
Exactly.
some type of consequence for your actions because your actions are hurting people.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what I felt about his apologies. It was just like, I hope that you are actually sorry because
You're
like
an
these
adult.
next steps that you take are going to prove whether or not you actually meant what you said. Like as a person who is very much like, I'm very big on mental health, especially with like people who are young. I'm very big on mental like just accountability for it, or like taking accountability for your mental health. So like your actions that you take after you realize what's going on is really speaks about your character as a person. Like, what are you going to do now that you know that you've had this slip? What's next?
Mhm. I think on his bingo card, he's like, how many laws can I break?
At one
How can I
time.
truly be a chaotic evil today?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's disappointing. And from
He's my chaos queen. I love him. I hope the best for him.
Chaos Queen.
Yes, he is my chaos queen. I love him, and I hope that he gets. I hope that he's doing okay.
well, like also the problem is like because so much was riding on this movie because it's kind of like a culmination of a lot of stuff from DC movies. DC has kind of been protecting them.
And that's why I hope that he is going to be okay because a lot of fans, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of, there's a lot riding on you doing better, sir.
Mm.
So you know, that's it. I don't know. I want to watch the movie because obviously, again, it's a lot of people worked on this movie. It's not just Ezra Miller. A lot of people worked on the movie. It just sucked that they're the biggest part of said movie. Like you can't recast the main character for something that's like a 2 to 3 hour movie that's been in works for 3 years, 3-4 years. So
Yeah, they
Alright,
just
we're
put the
putting it
end
up.
credits on it.
We're ripping up all the tapes of The Flash that we currently have, and we're starting production of a reboot of this movie, and that'll be coming in 2028.
By
man,
Schneider.
I can talk a lot about DC movies. I'm not going to do here now. Because I like DC. I really do. I'm a DC fan over Marvel. But Marvel just gets it right when it comes to movies and TV shows. DC, they're just all over the place. They're trying to fix it, but good God, is a dumpster fire over there.
Can they start with Teen Titans Go? Let's fix that.
I have no problem with Teen
You should
Titans
stop
Go.
rebooting stuff.
I have no problem with Teen Titans
Maybe-
Go. It the purpose it serves as a comedic based thing, it works really, really well.
Yeah.
If you kind of like if you want Teen Titans and like a modern Teen Titans, go to Young Justice. Young Justice is fantastic.
The people who have that nostalgia, that show wasn't made for your nostalgia.
Right, it was.
Not really.
Teen Titans Go
it
is
was.
for
It was supposed
this
to be like a
generation of
teaser
kids.
for you.
But Teen Titans Go, they did have some bangers. I'm not gonna lie. It did.
Cash and Villains was it's on my phone. Cash and Villains is on my phone. I'm not ashamed.
Ah.
Okay, so moving on. Going to the bigger topic. Excuse me, Jesus. It's
I was like, dramatic pause.
it's going around the burping.
Drum roll, please.
So regarding Hogwarts Legacy and J.K. Rowling. So I'm going to first start off with the article from IGN. article is Hogwarts Legacy developers respond to controversy around creators' anti-transgender views. Devs talk about challenges without mentioning author J.K. Rowling. So, Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy allows players to zoom around on broomsticks, master exotic spell books, and break bread with their fellow students on the castle grounds. There are millions of Harry Potter fans on the planet, and after years of middling movie tie-ins and App Store floatism, Portkey Games promised the first full-throttle, big-budget embrace of the wizarding world. Excuse me. Unfortunately, the author and primary rights holder of the Harry Potter franchise, J.K. Rowling, has recently reinvented herself as one of the most prominent anti-transgender voices in the cultural zeitgeist, which has torpedoed much of the dizzy goodwill that Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to offer. As the game
That's one hell of a title.
Right. And this was posted January 25th, so the game is out now. But as the game inches closer to release, only 2 weeks away, Portkey customers will be navigating a thicket of unresolved ethical quandaries. Is it possible to divorce the themes of love and belonging, so crucial to the Harry Potter canon, from its merciful author? Can the Wizarding World ever be reclaimed from J.K. Rowling if she stands to profit from every unit that Hogwarts Legacy sells? So, and I'll just read this last quote from the game director, Alan Tu, the game's director. He said this: "I think for us there are challenges in every game we worked on. This game has been no different. When we bumped into those challenges, we went back and refocused on the stuff that we really care about. We know our fans fell in love with the Wizarding World, and we believe that they fell in love with it for the right reasons." He said, "We know it's a diverse audience. For us, it's making sure that the audience who always dreamed of having this game had the opportunity to feel welcome back, and that they are home here, and that it's a good place to tell their story." So, he didn't mention J.K. Rowling by name, nor did he say anything specific about trans issues or trans rights. And I feel like this isn't a game director specifically why he didn't mention J.K. Rowling specifically. Because the studio itself, if you've been kind of keeping up with the stories, the studio itself has been very not mentioning J.K. Rowling at all. And I'm pretty sure that's a thing from higher up from WB, where they're just like, hey, look, just focus on the game.
They addressed it on the website before the game was even released or anything. They had spoke about it on the website saying, hey, there was a question an FAQ, will J.K. Rowling be making money off of this? And that question wasn't really fully answered. It was no, but kinda.
And it's I feel like, I don't know if it's a situation, so I don't know the right situation with this. So obviously, Warner Brothers owns the rights for Harry Potter, but is it a situation where J.K. Rowling has the final say? Is J.K. Rowling the big contributor to every little thing that goes on? Or is it more so
she's not.
Okay, so go ahead.
I did a lot, as a person who is trans, femme, non-binary, I did a lot of research on this because it hurt me a lot that one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite book series could potentially be like this. So I did a lot of research on it. She does not have final say. Warner Brothers has final say. The issue is that if Harry Potter is mentioned, she does get a portion of it at some point, just because she's the creator. Even if it does not bring her any monetary value, it still is attached to her name. And that is where we kind of have that contingency built. Mm-hmm. Where are we going to still uplift the name of this person who holds these ideals? Or are we going to give our money to the multitude of people who have worked on this project?
Yeah, and
that's kind of where I think people are split on.
Yeah, and it's not even just Hogwarts Legacy, because I've thought about it recently. Obviously, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I really have. And then I saw those allegations, and then I had this mental turmoil, and I'm like, do I support this person who doesn't believe a certain subset of people are actual or whatever like that? But she has the IP to the Wizarding World. That's all
Mhm.
her. She has all that. So no matter what you do, even if you go to Universal Studios in Florida, she gets a portion of that ticket money. She gets a portion of everything. And
Mhm.
that also brings up the topic of um, ethics and capitalism, because ethically, under a capitalist society, which we are in, we're in the United States, there,
Money is power.
yeah, money is power, and there's no, unfortunately, there's almost no such thing as good ethics under capitalism. Like,
Mhm.
for example, Chick-fil-A, I think it was a CEO or CFO, or basically was donating to anti LGBTQIA plus foundations and stuff like that.
But
Um,
people are having a hard time giving up their chicken sandwich though.
listen, I had Chick-fil-A for the first time in
That's
years, since like last time I had Chick-fil-A was in 2017, 2018, and then I
Mhm.
recently had it again in December, like for the first time in those years. And I'm like,
I'm real split on how I feel about the game, or it just about the Harry Potter world in general. Because again, like as someone who is trans femme non-binary, my pronouns are she they. I don't know. I loved Harry Potter. It was it was a love that was outside of just this being a book series. It was kind of like mentally it was like a saving grace for me when I was reading it when I was a child. So like I have that growing up. I can't pretend like that wasn't something that was a big part of who I was. Like I can't pretend like I wasn't a fan. And I'm not gonna pretend like I don't still love a lot of the Harry Potter lore. That I still love it to this day. Like I have a wand, but do I support those ideals that she holds? No. And that is the duality of man still exists, and that is
Mhm.
what the issue is. There are some things that I love her creativity. I love how fantastical she's made this world. I do not love her political stances. I do not love her social stances. I cannot agree with those.
so that also brings up the question, um, well, not the question, but like the topic of, again, we are human. We're not 100% perfect. Um, like, how do we support the art without supporting the artist? And we just can't, because at the end of the day, if they own IP, if they own the art, that is what they have produced. Like,
I feel
uh,
like if you are able to make it, if you're going to actionably support them for one portion of who they are, you should be able to actively go against, you know,
the grain of what that
the
means to
gray.
actually
Basically, like,
separate them.
if you're going to buy the game, but also that amount of money that you spent on that game, a portion of those proceeds or a portion of that money could also go towards whatever foundation that you find that could support those people.
I mean, because so from a musical aspect, er, all of us in here know who the composer Richard Wagner is, especially Chanel as a vocalist. And Richard Wagner was a Semite, very anti-Semite,
Mm-hmm.
and we still play his music on stages for classical performances to this day. Hold
I'll still
his
pull out a Wagner piece for an
ring,
audition.
hold his ring opera cycle as the big shebang of all operas because of its massiveness. And we still celebrate his music. Do we talk about him as a person? No, because he was not so nice. But we celebrate his music, yes, because it's still great music. Just like with the art aspect of these creators that we've been talking about so far, are all their worlds that we've been in. You know, with Ezra Miller and being DC. Bryan has history DC. Y'all, Chanel and Clayton with Harry Potter. That's the wizarding world. Everybody has an association with that. And, the whole situation with Rick and Morty, the creator, and how we've all dabbled in his media in some form or some fashion. Do we agree or celebrate what those people do? No. But their ideas are something that stick with us. Their actual thinking process of what they've created for us to imagine, that's the thing that we kind of have to hold on to, even though it hurts to do so, because it's a part of
Right.
us.
Mm.
It's
So I
just one
I
of those
think
weird things where you just kind of have to take it, take it with a, you know, with salt in the wound. It's gonna hurt, but you're still gonna end up enjoying it to some capacity.
So
I think Germany's handling of like the whole Hitler thing is a very good example of that. Because did they keep all the benefits that Hitler like did for their organization, like for their country or whatever the fuck? Yeah,
I,
but they absolutely condemn that man and will not shy away from that history. They will not shy away from like he did a horrible thing. Let's be honest about that.
mm,
And I think that's what we have to be like, where we have to be with not just J.K. Rowling or anything, but like with all celebrities. Like we kind of build these paranormals, like parasocial relationships with celebrities, and forget that they're people. I can disagree with them. I can support one idea and then disagree with another.
Hmm.
And that's really where it comes down to. J.K. Rowling is just a person, and she just came up with Harry Potter. I don't agree with some of the stuff she does, though.
yeah,
So,
that was going to be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Clayton.
well, hopping back to what Chanel said earlier, that money talks. I think in situations like this, if our money talks to buy the game, our money should be louder when we support the stuff that we want to support and that the artist doesn't. So just like if I buy a Hogwarts Legacy right now, I'm gonna go hard in the paint for the Trevor Project or to whatever LGBTQIA plus
If you're gonna support it, be just as supportive of the causes that you say you believe in,
if not more.
if not more, because you know that someone actively goes against it.
Mm, and
Someone that you supported actively goes against it.
yeah, and if money is a concern, like go out and protest, make some signs, put hold
Do
social
something.
talk, like put out.
Bring awareness. It's so easy to repost something.
Mm-hmm. It
Just bring
literally
awareness to the issue.
takes seconds to press share, like to like copy a link, paste, share. It takes
Discuss it.
seconds.
Talk about it with your friends.
Sign
No, grandma.
petitions. Like sign petitions.
Tell your grandma.
And if you're like really serious about it, write to your Congress members or local community officials, like for laws that will help protect the class that is like who's hurting. So like
So okay, so this is my question. Yeah, okay. I was also understanding about having the discussion now, bringing it out, but as you said earlier, this is a capitalistic, society. How do we tell these companies? Because eventually, at some point, the companies do have to barge if there's a certain amount of outcry from the fans because they know that's going to affect their bottom line. And this is the thing I've just been constantly like thinking in my head is how do you support those who put so much time and effort into making the game? And from what I can tell from the reviews I've seen, the game's great. And for especially for Harry Potter fans, it really gives them a lot to really be into that world. It gives them that authenticity. It gives them the things that Harry Potter fans would want, to happen, the representation they wanted in that game. But how do you, and obviously you want to the developers who I'm pretty sure are fans of the franchise, otherwise they wouldn't have put so much love and care into it. How do you continue to support them, the series, while still making your concerns known that, hey, we love the work that these people did, but we do not support this creator? And how do what is the things that you can do to make it known that, hey, we want to support the things that these people have done and created, but at the same time, we need you as this big conglomerate company that's writing the contracts to these actors, to these artists, these creators of these shows. You're the ones who still have the financial power behind that. So what needs to be done as the consumer standpoint to make these companies know that, hey, these people are not. We do not agree with these people. What can be done on that
You have,
aspect?
I
How
think you
can I
have to
only get the money
understand.
to go to the people that made the game and
Mhm.
not the IP creator per se? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
because money talks.
You have to, you have to understand
that's
how the dollar
difficult.
works. You have to understand how the dollar works because the money that you're paying to buy these games or buy merchandise or anything like that, uh, every dollar is split into portions. So the people that you're supporting, you are giving money to them, but are you also giving money to the person that you don't want to support? Yes. Understand how much of that money is being used towards them. And that same portion equivalently support the cause that you know that they are against. If you know that J.K. Rowling is against like she's against transgender or whatever, support trans people just as much as you have now accidentally supported J.K. Rowling
Or purposefully.
or purposefully. You have to really understand how, if you're going to try and figure out, like, what do I do with the power of money, with my power of my dollar, understand what a dollar is or how a dollar works.
Mm. And just distributing like legality's sake and things prevents you from being able to allow you to tell you where your fucking dollar is going to go. Like if I wanted to
Yeah,
say I only want it to go to the studio that created the video game, and so that way they could separate themselves from the actual whatever company they're working under, so that they can go to their own thing and make a similar. Because a lot of
'Cause-
developers do that.
Well, I mean, because
Where
the other thing that the other reason why I posted that question is because, and this is something I don't agree with at all. There's been people who's been review bombing this series, and this hasn't been like just with this game, but this is just I've realized this is internet culture in itself, where
Mm,
if people are unsatisfied with something because of extraneous, issues outside of the physical product itself, they'll review bomb something. So like, and I'm on the mindset, hey, if you're putting money if you're purchasing something as a consumer and it's not up to your standards, it's not, functioning the right way, you paid money for it and you did not get a good experience out of it, then yes, do a fair review on it. But a lot of time with mob mentality, I've seen, and with this game, where because they don't support J.K. Rowling, they will review bomb the game or spread misinformation, and that, to me personally, that's just not the way to go about it, because now you're hurting the developers who had nothing to do with this, the voice actors, the graphics designers,
mm-hmm.
the marketing team that
mhm.
had literally nothing to do with this. Now they're being affected because your stance is to review bomb the product that you haven't played, or review bomb a product that you're criticizing it way harsher than
Then
you
you
would normally
really
do.
need to,
Yeah, than you would normally do in any other circumstance.
because they're
Because
not
keep
looking
in
at it as a
mind,
game. They're looking at it as what the IP is attached to, not the actual
exactly.
game.
Mm-hmm. Like, and it's become this common
And
internet
so it's
trend,
out
as
of
you
spite.
said. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's this common internet trend, as you talked about, Brian. It is not even just with the three people that we've discussed today. It's just like if somebody does something wrong on social media and they're and they work at a certain company or whatever like that, they will review bomb that company. Now, like you have small businesses going out of because they hired an employee that did something bad, and then the internet, we're going to review bomb this, like, and then spread all those lies. So it's very hurtful, and we have to pick and choose our battles wisely. And
And that's what the issue is, because I don't think they're picking they're choosing their battles wisely. I think that's why those reviews upset me, is because that energy could be spent actually supporting the causes that you actually believe in.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You could be review bombing. You didn't even play the game. You have no idea how this game even works. You could be using that energy
Mm.
to write a post, write a congressman. Too often have we, like, people have been in a supportive of causes but not actually done something. Like we spent all of like the whole like Black diaspora of just saying, "Hey, I see you saying that you support this idea. I need you to be actionable behind it." And now we're asking people to do the exact same thing. If you actually support me as a person, you actually like support me who I am, and you want to support J.K. Rowling's shit, okay, but I need you to support me. Like I need you to be there for me when I need the money, when my community needs money, when we're going through things, when we need you to write somebody, when we need you to write letters, we need you to write. You're writing these reviews. We need you to go protest a thing. Help us.
Yeah,
Right.
like I call those people posers because if you talk about it, be about it. Talk
That's
about
really what it is. Put your money where your mouth is.
no. More importantly, put your voice where your mouth is. Like, come on, because like I know we're getting extremely political, but even when it comes to something like Trayvon Martin, because that happened in my neck of the woods when that happened. Like I had people in my classes crying when they found out that Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by George Zimmerman. What I need people to understand is what I really need them to understand is be angry with your actions, with your words, with your dollars. Do everything that you can to stir up so much commotion because, at least in this country, we have free speech. There are countries that, if you say anything that is out of line with like the quote unquote status quo, you're killed or you're ousted socially. Here in America, we have freedom of speech and we got to use our freedom of speech. We got to use everything that we can in our power to make sure change is happening, change is occurring.
Right.
We got to make some more noise for laws to for trans people to be feel safe here in America, because if a hate crime happens against a trans person, are they prosecuted? Sometimes. We also got to make some noise for all other minorities and all other specific communities, so that we so other than with our dollar, they know like the general like which way the pendulum swings here in America, because like a majority of people we agree like, hey, do your own thing. If it doesn't affect me, go on about yourself. Why don't our laws reflect that?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't just stop with LGBT rights. It doesn't just stop with rights for Black people or other minorities here in America. It even goes towards like abortion and women's bodies or people who are willing to or able to produce. It's just this deep rabbit hole of people talking the talk but not walking the walk.
I think a lot of it, like I was talking to my partner about it too. Um, if you're angry about the issue, that's good. Be angry. Be upset that like, or be uncomfortable with it. If you're uncomfortable, sit uncomfortable. If you're confused, sit with that. But
Don't
anger
ignore it.
gets shit done. Do something with it. Move. You know, make a move. Do something.
I think that no, I think the concern is not ignoring it. Like it's not an
Yeah.
issue. Like it's not a problem right there. Like there's not something that like being ignorant to it is different because you know, but you're choosing to not acknowledge it and
And that comes
ignoring it,
with,
and that is not
I think,
acceptable.
I think that has to do with education. Like again, people to people. We have a whole bunch of stuff that we are like paying attention to throughout the day. Like we have our own sphere of our lives. I can't be mad at somebody who didn't know about this stuff with J.K. Rowling. So like your ignorance, true ignorance is you just didn't know.
And
So
I've
now
I've
you know.
I've realized that's the case of a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
the people who are like politically aware or social emotionally aware, they see these news articles, they see these things happening, and they're talking about it. I cannot tell you how many times, just like for the promotion of this, where people will go into comments for like social media posts, and they're just like, FJK Rowling, don't support this, what she's about and what she believes in, and it never fails. There's a bunch of people like, what are you talking about? Like, there's so
Exactly.
much people that
There,
are just like not in the loop at all.
I'm in a lot of communities of like Harry Potter fans, and like just varying degrees of like Harry Potter fan, and there's just so many of them who's like, what? J.K. Rowling did say what? What's happening? What's going on? Because some people just didn't know.
Yeah, and again, as that comes down to speaking up about it, making sure that people understand what is the underlying issue with this, or why people are angry, why people are saying X, Y, and Z. And it's shocking how much people are just like, they love Harry Potter, they love the world, but they know nothing about the creator or what she's been saying. And so when for some people, it has this weird imbalance where I love this franchise so much, I will buy anything, I will support it, and then out of nowhere you get hit with this, and you're just like,
That
You're
goes
like,
back to
what?
what you were saying with like the developers. Like, I don't know shit about these developers. I don't. The people that you're talking about, I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I know J.K. Rowling though, and we can talk about it. You can educate me, and I can educate you.
Mm-hmm. And that's what that exactly. Talk about it, be about it. I ran away so I could because it though it is really unfortunate. I haven't bought the game yet, but I will buy it because like I feel like it's a franchise that I love. Fuck J.K. Rowling, but I have to support the developers because they spent so much time and so much money. But I ran to get this pin because I said I talk about it, so I be about
there
it.
you go.
So I donated to the Trevor Project through Hot Topic, and I donated at the time $50. This so
The game is like 80, I think.
I need people to get on board, get their shit together, and start donating to organizations like the Trevor Project.
Yeah, man.
That's it. Point blank. Period.
So, any final thoughts? I knew this was going to be just a shorter one. We're going to try to be more consistent with uploads and recording, not have 2.5 hour ones like we did before.
Oops.
That was a
Those were
comeback.
by accident.
We
That
had
was a comeback.
2.5 hour ones back to back. I mean, it was fun, but it was a lot. It took forever
Right.
to process that video.
Well, outside of all the controversies, I need to ask everybody, what if you know what is your Hogwarts house?
I don't know. We've had
No,
this
give a
conversation.
fuck.
You gotta find
I
out.
don't know. Okay, so look, not a Harry
I don't
Potter.
give a rat's ass.
I'm going to say I'm not
Okay.
a Harry Potter fan only, and again, it's not because of J.K. Rowling. It's just because I just never really got into the franchises. I'm sorry, this is gonna sound ignorant. I saw them thick ass books in middle school, and I'm like, I am not reading that shit. That is too
get
much.
it.
Brian on the same
No,
page.
no, I understand. When I first saw the book when I was a kid, I was like, "You want me to read what?"
I was like, hell no.
I was on the
I was
opposite
like,
spectrum.
"I got it."
I saw the smaller book, the series, The Unfortunate Events, and I was like, that's more my alley. That's a lot
Yes.
more manageable. So I was like,
Exactly.
that was
Let me
the
get that one.
This is what I'm currently reading.
Captain
And
Underpants.
what's surprising is that's one of my
Captain
favorites.
Underpants. So like,
Thank you.
I always latched on to series of unfortunate events during that time. But again, Harry Potter was super massive. I seen a few of the movies. This again, this sounds like terrible to Harry Potter fans, but I seen like the first one, fourth, fifth,
Chamber Secrets,
seventh.
Goblet of Fire.
like I was all over the place. I've seen random movies.
You saw one of them.
Like I saw a few of them, the random ones. I love the actual theming of Harry Potter world in Universal / Island of Adventure. That the Harry Potter ride is very fun. Next time I go there, I will definitely obviously go to the Harry Potter ride again. But I definitely want to go to the Haggard one where they replace Dueling Dragons. I want to go there.
Mhm.
And I like the actual theming of the world.
Yeah, Diagon Alley is amazing.
The
Diagon Alley's gotta go.
butter beer. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh boy,
you gotta get a warm butterbeer. Is so good on a
Oh.
chilly morning. Mm.
So
Bro.
So you take like
What?
a stick of butter and you shove it in a beer bottle and you
stop.
let it sit.
No.
No,
Oh.
Absolutely not.
but
That
Absolutely
sounds
not.
awful, by the way.
but
That
also
is, sounds like the most American thing I could possibly think of.
well, it doesn't have cheese. That's not American yet.
You're right. It didn't have cheese or bacon.
And but also in Diagon Alley, you can purchase wands. Like it's not limited edition, but there are other wands. I have two. You could go around and there are camera sensors and certain emblems on the ground and walls where you could like direct.
You can
the
do
tip of your-
spells.
Yeah, direct the tip of your wand for spells. And then there are certain things that animatronics.
You
or
get
other
to
things
really
move.
be in the world. Like you are in Harry Potter world.
Yeah, I love the theming from that. So I'm a very, very casual Harry Potter fan. One day I would like to actually go through the series and just like go through all the movies. I ain't reading them books. I'm telling you right now, I ain't reading them books.
Okay.
But I would like to sit down and actually watch through the movies and things like that. And I also have to, mention as well, a lot of the actors from the movies, they've also distanced themselves from J.K. Rowling too. And they made it known that, hey, this franchise is a huge part of their lives, obviously professionally, emotionally, all these things. And I did want to put out that they went ahead and said, yeah, they distanced themselves from those comments. They don't agree with those comments. And, the developers in the game, they can only do so much, again, legally without saying certain things. But, one of their things they did actually add transgender options for character creation in the game as well. So that is another just small way that they're able to somehow contribute to it without directly stating X, Y, and Z.
I guess what are my final thoughts? I'm gonna guess you and DeYante's houses.
What is my like floppy cock or something? I don't know.
Stop.
So
So DeYante's definitely a Ravenclaw.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's a Ravenclaw for sure.
Oh my god.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
And I was thinking, Bryan is a Gryffindor.
same. I was thinking that's a Gryffindor for sure.
Yes.
I know exactly what that
Yeah.
means. Yep, I understand every word you're talking about.
Yes, Ravens. Edgar Allan Poe. Yes.
Just to give you a snippet of Ravenclaw, because
Right. That
No,
the snarkiness, very Ravenclaw.
but you're Slytherin, so
Me?
You slimy
weren't you
snake.
Slytherin or Hufflepuff?
I'm a Hufflepuff. Thank you very much.
But Ravenclaw really deals around like intelligence, and we're kind of snarky about it. I'm sorry, but you are very knowledgeable in music, and so I was like,
Oh, fuck everything else.
there's a snarky. Look at he just proved me right.
That's right.
And Gryffindors are rather prideful and
But they're really warm spirits. They're really, really warm people.
You said
yeah.
And they're
Wait.
they're like super friendly people. Like they're very kind.
you said which one you said you think I'm fall under?
Gryffindor.
Oh.
My
Okay.
partner's Gryffindor.
I'll take that.
Us Hufflepuff, a lot of people think they're like, oh, we're super kind. We're just pushovers. We'll just say yes. I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'm doing it. I'll do it. Yeah.
Hey, want to go skydiving? Sure.
If you ever see like a golden retriever, that's a Hufflepuff for sure. I'm excited. Sure, let's do it. Food.
Let's go on an adventure.
Like we're just going to the dog bowl. Chill out. It's right there.
That's exactly a Hufflepuff for sure.
So we'll wrap this up. So now remind us again, where can people find you outside of this?
Oh, we are Code Switching Naturally. That's Code Switching Naturally on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Code Switch Naturally. You can find us on Twitter, Code Switch Naturally. All one word. Look me up. All of the links have links to my Discord. So if you want to hang out with me, please join the Discord and get to know the ramen bowl. Get to know the flavors of the ramen bowl. Yeah, man.
And we'll put the links in there, obviously, into the description of the podcast and the actual YouTube link. So yeah, this was cool. This was fun. A little bit more serious discussion, but hey, sometimes it's needed.
Just a little bit. We're not all fun and games here.
I
We like
love
to get serious.
We'll be back on
Real serious.
We'll be on our
You're
back on our
very
usual
Joker.
bullshit next week.
Next time we'll talk about the NASDAQ and the Dow. We'll see
You
what's
know
going on
what?
with those stocks.
We'll talk about developing your 401k.
Let's log
And
into
Clayton
a
gets to leave.
C-SPAN.
Clayton gets to leave with his life together.
Sure.
I am a
We'll do
safe driver, Clayton Ford.
No, we're not gonna bring that up again. It's been how many years?
I am a
God.
safe driver, Clayton Ford.
It's been like 5 or 6 years.
Correct.
What did you do? Who did you run
Oh.
over?
Oh my god. So
No, we were
It's-
all panicking in the car, and he's like, "No, I got this. I'm fine. We're okay. I am a safe driver."
I've rented a Dodge van for us to go back to my place when we had to evacuate for one of the hurricanes for campus, and I remember we were driving through Jacksonville, and then somebody wouldn't let me fucking merge because I'm like I have the fucking right of way, so I almost like I'm just like I'm playing chicken, and then everybody in the car was worried, and I'm like I'm a safe driver.
I am a safe driver, Clayton Ford.
I'm a safe driver.
There's traffic everywhere. I could go anywhere, so I'm merging because I had the right of way. But
I know the wrong.
y'all survived. Y'all lived.
Correct, we did.
And are still alive.
Because Clayton is a safe driver.
Did you lose a little bit of your soul? Maybe, but I did promise to get you back to my place safe.
Whoa, but
What are you? What is
Ooh,
going on?
this is new.
you are messing up my recording.
Oops. I didn't know. I was like, what does that button do? This is new. Oh, hey.
I thought like Max joined for a second. I was like, whoa.
Hey, I'm like, oh, jump scare.
I'm like, YouTube. Hello.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening to the podcast and chilling out, hanging out with us. So we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Bye.
Clayton whispered something, and I'm glad we didn't pick it up.
Fuck. But it gets
Damn.
fucked.
He's like, it was just like, what the fuck did you say? Because I didn't even hear it.
Goodbye.
Oh. I don't like your ASMR.
He always does it, and it's always uncomfortable every
I don't like your
time.
asthma. All right, I actually have to get dressed, get ready to go, and hit the road.
Okay, bye.
For
Peace.
Yeah, see you.